You spend big money to bring in a big-time head coach, and Kenny Brooks and his Kentucky Wildcats delivering in Season 1. 23-8, Georgia Amore, a second-team All-American. Clara Strack, the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. This team would go on to earn a double bye in the SEC tournament, a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament, a return to hosting, and for all of that, Kenny Brooks named the Sporting News National Coach of the Year a season ago. Christy, you were here in Lexington to watch the phenomenon that was Kenny Ball last year. This year, though, a new look roster once again, different at the point guard, but some big expectations. Oh,
listen, you can't go with that kind of record and make that kind of run in the tournament, host a tournament again, and not have high expectations around here in a basketball state. But you think about these records that were broken, individual and team records, all up and down. I mean, you're talking about just 12 school records, whether it was a team record or an individual record that was broken by this team last year. I mean, big expectations, but Kenny Brooks is fine with that. He says bring it, and he will recruit to get it done.
First look at KK Carroll, the highest ranked recruit that Kenny Brooks has ever had. Amelia Hassett triggers the three and hits. First tray of the game for Kentucky.
Pure shooter for Kentucky. She's a young lady that showed us that she was much more than that last year, which was so nice to see. But really, I think anytime that that young lady's got the ball in her hand, she has the green light and can knock it down.
Those of you just joining us alongside Christy Thomas, I'm Noah Frary. Morehead State getting off to a hot start in this game. Kentucky, though, clawing their way back in as Dekia rains the three. And after the barrage early on, Morehead State cooling off from downtown, 0 for their last 3.
And that wasn't a great shot for her. You could tell she was a little off balance, didn't quite have her feet under her the way she needed to.
Hassett hit the 3 the last time down, got a step on her defender, but couldn't finish at the rim. First look at Josephine and Ander, 2 in blue. Sepp triggers. Bank wasn't friendly. She has 5 of the first 13 for Morehead State in this game. Clara Strack triggers the 3. She's been asked to do more of that this year. It leads to an offensive rebound and the putback for Asia Boone.
You're gonna love what you see out of Kaylin Carroll. She just works hard. She has a lot to learn, but she's coachable. This is what Kenny Brooks has said about her all preseason.
Sepp drives and is fouled. Morehead State off to the great start to this game, but Kentucky on an 11-0 run.
Well, you knew they'd settle in, right? I mean, you knew that they were going to start to get it together, turn the corner here a little bit, but I think you're going to like what you see from Kaylin Carroll just because she's really active. Only at 6'3", but she'll get in there, she'll bang around with you, she'll work hard, and I think that this is a young lady that's going to have an incredibly bright future and really has such a beautiful opportunity here to learn from the triplets, as they call them. Got a hand on that one already in the mix on defense.
Pearson will work it back out, 10 on the shot clock. And now turned over. Forbes threw it away.
Clara Strack, Tiani Key, Amelia Hassett.
And Jordan Obi with an offensive rebound, and now we'll head to the free throw line. She just reached right over the top of her.
Right over top of her. She turned around and looked like, what in the world? When you can learn from 3 players like that, that's who we're calling the triplets for Kentucky. They rebound well. They know the game, they understand the game, they're interchangeable in their positions. That's exactly what you're going to see Kaylin Carroll be able to do, and she's going to learn a lot from those 3.
Census top 20 recruit in the country coming out of the New England era. Jordan Obi at the free throw line leading Kentucky with 6 points here in the early going, and you were doing such a great job at talking about the triplets. Let's talk a little bit more about them. This 3 combining for 35 points, 25 rebounds a year ago. That's a nice place to start from heading into this year.
Are you kidding me? Who wouldn't want that, right? I mean, and they're the only, we are the only team, Kentucky is the only team to have 3 players averaging 7.9 or more rebounds per player like that in the country. I mean, that's pretty impressive when you're considering that they're getting it done on both ends of the floor. Defensively, they played incredibly well. I think that's what we saw out of Amelia Hassett that we really weren't expecting, is that she was blocking shots and able to be an incredible defender for Kentucky as well.
After the foul on Asia Boone, Morehead State basketball, and Tiani Key sends that one to the first row. A Kentucky team that led the nation a year ago in block shots has their first here this season.
Well, that's where Josie Gilvin needs to go up to Tiani Key and tell her thank you very much, because she bailed her out right there. Got beat, but that's what you want. If you get beat, if you're overplaying, if you've extended your defense, somebody's got to help you on that backside.
The team defense is all about. Sepp again driving on Boone. Doesn't foul. Sepp throws it up. And Boone skies for the rebound, now pushing the pace. Boone saw an opening, gets to the 10, and will head to the free throw line.
Great decision by Asia Boone there. She had her teammate on the baseline, forced the defender to make some decisions. Hesitation, slight hesitation, then takes the contact. That's what you want, to be able to play through that contact and still get the shot up. I think she took a camera to the head down there in the end zone.
Boone, a big pickup this offseason for Kentucky. Kentucky fans will remember Asia Boone. She played for that Liberty team that took Kentucky to the wire in the first round of the NCAA tournament, although she broke her foot 5 games in, has recovered, fully healthy, and expected to play a big role for this Kentucky team this season.
Yeah, just a great opportunity for Asia Boone, I think, to come in here and get some things done for Kentucky that they really need. I think Kenny Brooks has said she's got to have the same amount of confidence in herself that I have in her, and when she does, big things could happen.
First basket there for the Louisville native, Josie Gilvin. First 3 years of her career at Western Kentucky, said it was always a dream to play here for Kentucky. Gets that chance here in her senior season. Sepp gets a step on Boone, and she's got 7 here in the first quarter from Morehead State.
That's what we're seeing the Eagles do a very nice job. Kentucky is having to extend that defense to guard against the 3 when they do, just aggressively putting the ball on the floor and going.
Long 3 from Boone. An offensive rebound here for Key, may have been fouled, no whistle. KK Carroll for 3.
The freshman.
The definition of a stretch 4.
I love that. I mean, that's what you want, right? I mean, and that's Kenny Brooks that said he could even put her in that 3 position. That's what you'll see more of from her. What a luxury.
Morehead State searching for an answer here.
Beautiful
It's Sepp
cut.
again. She's been the answer every time tonight.
It's a really nice backdoor cut for Sepp. Reading what the defense gives her, taking it, beautiful.
Sepp, one of 2 players to follow Ashton Feldhouse from Missouri Western, where she was the head coach a season ago. They were an at-large into the Division II NCAA tournament. Kick out, Carroll once again, in and out. Obi just bullying her way inside and gets it to go at the buzzer. And after the sluggish start for the Cats, Kenny Brooks and the Wildcats responding nicely here at the end of the first quarter.
You knew they'd settle in, and settle in they have.
25-17 after 1 here in an 8-point Kentucky edge after 1, and a homecoming for Ashton Feldhouse. She comes from a long lineage of coaches here and famous players at Kentucky. Her grandpa, Allen, a player for Kentucky back in the late 60s. Darren Feldhouse, one of the unforgettables here at the University of Kentucky. Her father, Alan Feldhouse, a legendary coach down at Madison Central, and most of her family has made their way out here tonight in Lexington to get a look at young Ashton Feldhouse making her Division I coaching debut.
How great is that? I mean, you know, that they're a lot of them are just right down the road. They could be here. There's a ton of folks that are here for Morehead State and for Ashton. So I think this is great. And as I'm watching her on the sidelines, I think she's very reminiscent of her dad on the sideline. And she's very intense. I love that she's been into the officials the last couple of trips down the floor. She was, listen, that last time out, she was like, no, you come over here and talk to me. So she may be young, but she knows exactly what she wants. She knows exactly what she's doing here. And I think that she's a great fit at Morehead State, and big things ahead for the Eagles program with her there at the helm.
And Ashton Feldhouse, one of just the latest coaches to make the jump from that Division II, 3 level here to the NCAA Division I level. Fans here in Lexington will remember Julie Folks, who made the jump from Transylvania, now currently at Marshall. And who can forget Kim Caldwell in that story? Goes from Division II to Marshall, goes to the NCAA tournament, and now coaching against, dare I say, the rival Tennessee Volunteers.
Well, and here's what's great about Ashton as well, too, is that she understands the OVC. She played in the OVC, so she knows a thing or two about this and knows what it means to play Kentucky. to play basketball in the state of Kentucky. You don't have a family lineage like that and not really fully understand it. So just a great fit. I think that this is going to be a really nice marriage between the two.
Here's Key inside. 9 offensive rebounds early on for Kentucky, and they create a second chance opportunity here. Why is Kentucky having so much success on the O-glass?
Well, of course, they've got great size, but what I've loved about Clara Strack and Tiani Key last season that we're seeing again this season is that they'll just go after it. And Amelia Hassett was an incredible rebounder last year as well, too. So they're just getting after it. They're understanding we've got a size advantage coming in here at 6'4", 6'5", have to be able to take advantage and get some points in the paint.
Tiani Key with a miss there on the free throw. She was a 77% free throw shooter a season ago. Preseason all-second team in the SEC this year. Be one of the breakout stars in this conference, was a highly touted recruit out of high school. Tofali gave it up. Tony Morgan going right into the post and not on the same page there with Key.
It's a good thought, though. That's the first time that we've seen Kentucky go inside with a defender on their back, go to a post player with a defender on their back. So I like that. That's a great way to take advantage of their size. Both of these post players have really nice post moves.
Nearly forcing the turnover there was Tony Morgan. Marie Sepp steps into the three. It was strong. She led Morehead State with 9 points in that opening quarter, got them off to the fast start. Here's Key, coast to coast. Strack with another O-board, threw it up, it won't go. And now Morehead State trying to push numbers forward, but Tofali throws it out of bounds. And Ashton Feldhouse, her head coach, saying, calm down a little bit.
Right. Well, and what I love about what we've seen from Kentucky already in a quarter and a half is we've seen Clara Strack bring the ball up the floor. Tiani Key has brought the ball up the floor. That's something that last year we saw from Kenny Brooks. He does not mind. He's okay with that. These players can do that. And we talk about positionless basketball and that kind of thing, but he means it. I mean, if you're bringing the ball up the floor like a point guard and taking it coast to coast, you've got the green light.
Kentucky shooting under 40% early on in this game as the step back from Clara Strack is off the mark. Lexi Blue hoping for a big sophomore year. She was a top 40 recruit ahead of last season. Tofali's got a step on her, drives inside, and the foul comes before the Strack block. It will be on Lexi Blue, her first.
I'm really impressed with how Morehead is taking the ball to the rim. If the three isn't there, they're absolutely forcing Kentucky to guard them.
We've seen on quite a few opportunities that they've been able to get by those Kentucky defenders. What's the adjustment for UK defensively?
Well, you're going to have to make sure that you've got to have a better angle for sure to cut them off, or you've got to know that your defender is back there in a position to be able to block a shot, which you know you've got some excellent shot blockers back there. When Clara Strack's in the game, Tiani Key, Amelia Hassett, they can all block shots.
Boone off on the three.
But you don't want to become too dependent on that and get them into trouble. So really now this is just a matter of making sure that you've got the right angle, cutting that off, being smart.
Ekstrom spins, pitches it out. The three rained home. Violet McNeese, who did not compete a year ago at Navy, chose to transfer here to Morehead State for her junior campaign.
Working a little inside out. I liked exactly what Morehead did there on the drive, forced Obi to help, kicked it back out.
Jordan Obi, 9 points early on in this game. Double figures now for Obi in her return to play.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to defend.
And this is an interesting look. You talked about the versatility of Jordan Obi. She's playing the 4 right now.
1 through 4. He feels comfortable with her playing anywhere in that spot, 1 through 4. This is a smaller lineup for Kentucky, no question.
There's Dikia, takes the 3. Kentucky practiced their defense against that exact set a lot yesterday. Boone's wide open in transition. Still searching for that first ball to go down.
She has a beautiful shot. I watched her at shoot around today, and the more I watched her, the more impressed I was. Just such a great looking shot. My hope is that she'll start to gain some confidence, even when it's not going, to continue to shoot. She's got it.
Third team foul on Kentucky here in the second quarter. Asia Boone over 60 made threes per season the last 2 years for her at Liberty. And an offensive foul here goes against Kentucky. Rather, Morehead State. That's on McNeese. It'll be her first. Looks like a moving screen right there as Asia Boone tried to fight through that kind of elevator screen.
Well, and sometimes, you know, you got to play it up. If contact is made and you play it up, you'll get that call.
Make it till you make it, right?
That's it. That's it.
Tony Morgan, great drive inside in the reverse finish.
That's a good, strong, athletic take that you want to see from Tony Morgan.
Morehead State has been right in this game since the get-go. Dikia could have traveled, instead drives on Strack. Couldn't hit the bunny. Jordan Obi's looked like a wrecking ball in this game, sent set flying. She's down on the play.
Well, that's when you can really start to sense that she's settling in a little bit. All that muscle memory starts to come back. You start to remember what that feels like when your lungs are burning a little bit, but you also start to know this is working for me. You start to realize I can put the ball on the floor, use my physicality.
Here's Obi, this time called for the offensive foul. May have extended that arm ever so slightly, but to your point, this was a three-time All-Ivy player who was expected to be a starter a season ago. Hurts her lower leg and ends up missing the entirety of the season. And you look at Kentucky's kind of thoughts here in the early season, 8th in the SEC preseason poll, and Christy, you get the thought that maybe people are sleeping on Jordan Obi a little bit.
Well, I think could be, and you know, I think also it's this Georgia Amore factor that when you don't have her and you really have some questions about what will Kentucky do, what can they do, can they have a transfer come in and her senior season really lead this team in a big way. I think shots like that are a big reason why this young lady will do some very good things, and she's going to learn under Kenny Brooks how to lead and how to be what he needs her to be. That is evolving, that's developing. He's talked about that. She's now approaching him about having conversations. Let's just get together and talk. This is what he wants to see out of his point guard.
There's Tony Morgan ahead of the pack. Starting to fill it up here in the second quarter. She's up to 8-6 in the second. Kentucky now with their largest lead. It's 12 here in the second quarter. After Morehead State led by as many as 9 early on in this contest. And Dikia called for the travel there. The start of the 25-26 season, Kentucky starting to find their sea legs. Morehead trying to get back into it. Jordan Obi is back and looking like a one-woman wrecking crew here early on, Christy.
Well, what I love about what you're about to see here is how she scored in a variety of ways for Kentucky, and this is showing you some real basketball IQ. She understands exactly what her capabilities are. She's reading the defense, taking shots when she's got them. I love this, backing the defender down. Nice little jump shot there. She can shoot the three. She's got 11 points, 6 rebounds. She's playing through contact, and you're starting to see this young lady just really gain some confidence after being out for an incredibly long period of time, not playing any basketball. This can be so tough to settle in. And sometimes you press. You push a little too much trying to get the game to come to you, and you really, because you want it so badly and it's been so long since you played. I don't sense that from her at all.
And I think that was why those 4 offensive rebounds are such a big part of her story early on in this game. And Christy, I think it brings us to an interesting point, because when you look at this Kentucky team this year, they feel a lot deeper than they were a season ago.
Yeah, oh, no question. They were playing 7 players only last year, really trying to piece some things together, and if you had certain positions get in trouble, what are we going to do kind of situation. So, yeah, that's exactly what they were going after. They needed some depth. They've got it. We're seeing some really good play out of the transfers early. I think you're seeing what you're going to see out of Tony Morgan is a player that is so vastly different come SEC play that I think it will be really, really fun to watch her progress from tonight to then.
Kentucky with the turnover out of the timeout. 2 turnovers here early on for Tony Morgan in her Kentucky debut. Rosie Gilvin playing some tight defense, has the steal. She was known for that a year ago at Western Kentucky, had a game with double-figure steals as Tiani Kemis is inside. A tie-up, going to keep it, though, with Kentucky.
Boy, I think we've seen, I'd be interested to know how many point-blank shots. We'll have to pull up a shot chart and see how many point-blank shots Kentucky's missed so far. That just goes to show you it's early, right? I mean, you're trying to get into the flow of the game. Some nerves, some anxiousness.
And there was some confusion there with the officials. It is supposed to be Kentucky basketball, and Christy, I think to your point, I think Coach Brooks would tell you too many missed shots inside early on in this game. There's Clara Strack, had the mismatch, gives up the basketball. Now Key driving inside, couldn't finish with the left hand. 13 offensive rebounds for Kentucky still in the first half. Morgan gives it up again. McNeese for three, in and out. Strack with the rebound. And another miss inside for Kentucky. Morehead's got to take care of the basketball here. They're fouled. That'll be the first personal on Josie Gilvin. Fifth foul on Kentucky here in this second quarter, putting Morehead State in the bonus for the remainder of the second.
2 minutes and 20 seconds since Morehead scored, and sometimes that's when you're really struggling offensively. If you can just get something at the free throw line, that's exactly what you need to get yourself back into it. This is Sepp just really showing some senior leadership in that way.
Sepp and Tofali, 11 in blue. Two players following Ashton Feldhouse from Missouri Western from a year ago. Played in an NCAA tournament as an at-large. Clara Strack, the patented step back. Too easy there for 13 in white.
We saw a ton of that last season from Clara Strack. She works hard on that. They all do. All the post players really work on that beautiful little fadeaway.
Sepp trying to get free. Pavicio left open, but Strack, the long arm of the law. She set a Kentucky record in block shots a season ago.
Such long arms.
Such a luxury to have a shot eraser. Strack trying to do it again. This time, the shot too strong.
You don't block it, but you alter it, and that's exactly what you said. She saw that long arm coming at her.
I wouldn't want 6'5" flying at me. Here's Strack going to work inside. Back-to-back Jays.
Nice job by Amelia Hassett, understanding you've got Clara Strack in the exact same position she was in the trip before. Give it to her again, let her go.
They get it to Sepp once again. She's been the best offensive piece for the Eagles. Drives into the trees and finishes.
Only 5'5", getting in there with the trees.
Double figures for her, 11 points now in her Morehead State debut.
She plays physical. She's vocal.
Can't sleep on those Division II guards.
Yeah, just really impressed with what I've seen from her.
Kaylin Carroll feeds it in. Strack is fouled.
Okay, I gotta tell you, listen, if you're wondering what's going on with everybody wearing their jerseys out and not tucked in, this is exactly what's going on. Clara Strack, beautiful. That's a great angle to be able to see that nice little step back and what they're able to do in that fadeaway. But this, look, she's going up against 6'5", 6'2".
Hassett looking for her second three, delivers it.
Okay, so there's a rule change that they don't have to tuck their shirts in anymore. They don't have to tuck jerseys in. Listen, I guess I'm old. I know this about myself. But I can't believe this. I can't believe this is where we are.
Hey, I'm only 30. I don't want to sound like a boomer, but I'm not a fan of it.
I'm not a fan. Yeah, so if you're wondering, there will be people at home sitting there watching, wondering, what in the world? Why don't these girls have their jerseys tucked in? And the rule now is that they do not have to tuck. So if they don't want to, it's all good.
Morgan strong on the three. Another O board for Kentucky. 13 in this contest now. They've had 15 second chance points off of those 13 offensive rebounds. Can they get more here? Backdoor look, Hassett. Looking like Jamar Chase on that reception. He just needed some defense the other night against the Bears.
Oh man, please. That was a really nice thought. And I love the fact that Toni Morgan was actually able to get Amelia Hassett the ball, but when she came down with it, she wasn't gonna be able to do anything. So great thought as you watch the play develop there.
The next one tipped out of play. Kentucky will have it in a difficult spot to inbound the basketball, just in front of the Morehead bench. There's Clara Strack, has a mismatch here again to the step back. It skips off. About an 8-second difference between shot and game clock. Sapp trying to work free. Uses the Dekia screen. Good job by Morgan, and called for the foul, and she can't believe it. Big Blue Nation can't as well. Second foul on Toni Morgan. And with Morehead State in the bonus, that will put Sapp back at the free throw line.
Just doing doing a great job of really just controlling the offense for Morehead. On the drive, trying to get some contact, got it. Could have gone either way, depending on, this is a physical game, no doubt about it. So it depends on how that goes, what the angle is for the official. But I like what she's doing. I like the fact that she's taking it in at 5'5". She's using her strength. No fear mentality.
13 first half points for Marie Sepp in her Eagles debut. Kentucky has it with the shot clock off. They can hold for the final shot if they choose. Asia Boone in the game at point guard. Kentucky making their move. Morehead State switching everything. Hassett, the tough three, off the mark. Obi with it inside, gets it off, and it won't go at the buzzer, but there is a foul.
Kentucky 41, Morehead.
There is a foul on that shot for Jordan Obi. And if that was in the act of shooting, it will put Jordan Obi at the free throw line for a couple of shots here with no time left on the clock.
Gosh, I'm not even sure I heard the whistle to know that there was a foul call.
And they are going to go to video review.
The last foul is under review for whether it happened prior to the expiration of zeros.
Well, as I'm watching, I don't think I even heard the whistle. It doesn't mean it didn't happen, but I don't think that I even heard the whistle to know there was a foul. But let's go back to the layups and the idea that Kentucky has really missed a lot of shots at point-blank range. I mean, they're 6 of 12 from in there. You're talking about that's a big difference in this game right now for Kentucky. Those are shots that will fall. They're shots that they're getting at point-blank range, just not going.
This is the angle they were looking at.
She's going to get 2.
Foul on the floor has been confirmed. It happened at .4 on the game clock.
So in addition to Jordan Obi shooting free throws, they will put 0.4 of a second back on the game clock. The foul going on Circe Rubio Remolar, putting Jordan Obi at the free throw line here. Jordan Obi, Kentucky's leading scorer in the first half with 11, now 12. Missed all of last season with a torn Achilles, but back and looking much like her former 3-time All-Ivy self. Hits both free throws, and Sepp will do nothing with the inbound. So after one half of this home opener for Kentucky, it's the Wildcats by 16 over the in-state Morehead State Eagles. A 16-point halftime edge for 24th-ranked Kentucky here in the home opener inside historic Memorial Coliseum. And we welcome you now courtside here in the HMC with Christy Thomas. I'm Noah Frary. And Kenny Brooks a few moments ago, speaking to the UK Sports Network's Michelle Knezovic, said, Christy, it felt like at times his team was trying to play a little bit fast. Maybe there were some nerves in that first half.
You know, and I wonder if it's not even nerves as much as it is just being really anxious. I mean, you're just ready to play. You want to play someone else. You've been banging around on each other for a long time, so you just wanted to play somebody else. So I think it's just being anxious and really wanting to come out here and play hard, play fast, show this team, show this crowd really what you're all about this season.
Now Kentucky had to weather an early storm from Marie Sepp, who got off to such a great start for Morehead State. She finishes that first half with 14 points, and she was hitting from all over.
She was Morehead State's offense. She was doing it all. So early on, she knocked down a couple of threes. When we talked about being anxious, she's somebody that really got after it early. She put it to him, showing that the senior really knows what she's doing. Really, really a nice first half for her, but Morehead's got to find it from someplace else.
Now Jordan Obi's back and healthy and looking the part in that first half.
Showing us a glimpse of exactly who and what she is and what she's all about. I was so impressed with how she scored differently in different ways. You see her knocking down a beautiful little baseline jumper. There you see her creating some shots, playing through contact. She didn't take any threes, but that has been a little bit of a bugaboo for Kentucky tonight, is that three-point shooting, only 18%, 3 of 16 there. But I loved what I saw to Jordan Obi tonight. I think the sky's the limit for a young lady that hasn't played basketball in a very long time.
And as we take a look at some of the first half stories, one of the things, and I briefly alluded to it, was the rebounding for Kentucky. 14 of those 29 rebounds were offensive. Those are things that you can take advantage of yourself, and Kentucky did that.
When you have as many offensive rebounds as your opponent has total rebounds, and you know something good is happening. They got 17 second chance points. That's taking advantage of your size, but that's also showing that you're ready to make some effort to get in there and get on the offensive glass. And honestly, that's really what got Kentucky going. They were struggling a little bit, really trying to settle in to their offense, really struggling with that a little bit. And that offensive rebounding and those putbacks are what got them going.
So the Cats begin the season ranked 24th in the country, but they were picked 8th in the preseason SEC poll. Christy, when you read between the lines of this Kentucky program, they feel maybe a little bit slighted right there, but they've said, let's just go out and do our work on the court.
Well, I think there's a lot to be said for that when you're considering what you're replacing. When you're replacing a Georgia Amor with 20 points per game, 8 assists per game, I mean, that is heavy lifting for someone, and I think that's really the story that we're looking at for Kentucky here is what is Kentucky going to do about that? How can they rebound and recover from that, and do they have the right pieces in place to be able to do that? So, you know, tonight I think we're seeing quietly Toni Morgan had 8 points, 3 assists, doing some very good things that I think you're starting to see how it's really coming together for her. You can almost sort of see from one quarter to the next her gain some confidence and really try to help settle her team in. I think she's going to have to really work on her vocal leadership and really trying to bring this team together as a leader, as a point guard.
So Foley fouled on the drive, the second personal foul rather on Jordan Obi will put her at the free throw line. And it's not that this team doesn't have leadership, speaking of Kentucky, but I think it's worth mentioning and worth remembering how much leadership Georgia Amor and someone like Deja Lawrence provided for this team that now they're having to replace this season.
Well, it's not easy to do to come in as a transfer when you're, you know, the good news for Toni Morgan is she's a little older. She's certainly been through it. She's played at a very high level in the ACC and done some very good things, so she understands the game. It's just a matter of coming to a brand new place with brand new teammates and really feeling like you can settle in and say things. You know, I think Kenny Brooks used a very good example of what that sort of feels like or sounds like, and that's being in class and a teacher asks a question, you know the answer to it, but you sit there quietly and don't say what the answer is. Eventually you get to the point where you're like, no, I know the answer, so I'm going to speak up and say it. And that's what he feels about Toni Morgan, is that she absolutely knows the game. She knows exactly what to do, when to do it, but he just needs her to start talking, start speaking out, start being a leader in that way, and I think you're going to start to see that. He's the kind of coach that will get that out of her.
That one out off of the foot of Tiani Key, who's looked a little bit out of sorts. And Christy, unfortunately, I was probably the guy in class who raised his hand too much to answer the questions.
I just blurted it out. I didn't even wait for somebody to call on me.
That's probably fair. I can picture that. Here's Dekia wide open for 3 and hits it over the outstretched hand of Clara Strack.
Morehead State doing exactly what they did early in the first quarter of this game, just finding those open shots. DK with their second.
There's Here's Clara Strack, got going in the second quarter, misses her first attempt here in the third. Is Tiani Key's going to draw the foul. Foul on Tiani Key. She's 0 for 5 from the floor.
A little bit of daylight, Morehead's going to take it. I like the fact that all of these players are ready to pull the trigger, ready to shoot.
Marie Sepp led all Morehead State players, 14 of their 27 in that first half. Hit a couple of threes, has had some nice plays. This time kicks out Dikia again, and Clara Strack looked a little flustered.
Well, I almost thought she had a hand on it.
Dikia did not shoot a single three-point shot a year ago for Morehead State. Hits back-to-back there on Strack. There's Jordan Obi. She was excellent in that first half. Loses the basketball here. This time Dikia drives on Strack. Better defense that time from the reigning SEC Defensive Player of the Year. Now Strack running the floor, throws it up.
Beautiful look. That's where you take it. Yeah, it's where you take advantage of that size. Just a great job by Clara Strack to run the floor. She does that so well. Just gets a little bit ahead of the defense, and Tony Morgan sees that daylight. Everybody collapses in. Clara Strack gets her to the line.
And of note for Morehead State, Millie Pearson there picking up her third personal foul. So Pearson will come out of this game. Violet McNeese, who had a 3 in that first half, re-entering for Ashton Feldhouse. Pictured there a moment ago in her Division I coaching debut after previous stops at Eckerd at the Division II level, as well as Missouri Western last season.
It's a great block there by Tiani Key, and I like the take. I got to be honest with you. Watching her go after it here, great take. Tiani Key, I mean, listen, this young lady was doing it on both ends of the floor last year, but I don't mind Laura Tofali taking that. Very undersized at just 5'9", but they've been aggressive all night on doing shooting the three, being aggressive, driving to the rim, being aggressive. I like the physicality of Morehead. They are not afraid to come in here and give number 24 Kentucky all they got.
Here's Key, she's fouled. 3 a moment ago for Sepp. Morehead State 3 for 3 in this third quarter from downtown.
And listen, I'm going to call that defended. I'm going to say that that shot there, in my mind, was defended because Morgan had a hand up. I feel like that was absolutely in her line of sight, defended. I mean, that just goes to show you that Sepp just got some guts.
Sepp was a 30% three-point field goal shooter a year ago, 2 for 4 so far tonight. And Tiani Key missing both free throws, continuing her slow night. The last foul was on McNeese. Here Sepp drives inside, and Morgan got to it. Strack almost lost it. Asia Boone set to come into the game here for Tiani Key. Tough start to the evening tonight for 7 and White. Just 1 point, 0 of 5 from the floor. 1 for 4 from the free throw line and only 2 rebounds. Goes out there from Ekstrom. Into the teeth of the defense for Strack. Boone, short corner 2. Skips off the iron. An 11-2 run here for Morehead State to begin this third quarter. McNeese for 3. Strack definitely affected that one. Kentucky looking for offense. They go to Morgan.
Great take by Tony Morgan, but she also passed up a three-point shot that I'm wondering where we'll start to see that come into play for her.
There's Tofali driving on Boone. And Asia Boone will be called for the foul. Back to Morgan there. not a great three-point shot, but definitely a much improved three-point shot since coming here to Lexington. So I think it's right. It'll be interesting to see where does she bring that in as we see Tofali drive on Boone.
Yeah, where does that fit, and where does that, listen, that's what we've seen Tofali do now 2 trips in a row, is just get after it. So clearly they talked about that in the locker room, that that's what they wanted to continue to do, is attack the rim, force Kentucky to foul. They did that really, really well in the first quarter.
And for Ashton Feldhouse, you have to love the tone that Tofali and Sepp are setting in this game. A combined 25 points for the two that transferred over alongside their head coach from Missouri Western a season ago.
Both seniors just showing that they've really got great poise, understand the game.
Here's Obi inside, right hand, and it goes down. 15 for Jordan Obi in her return to action tonight. Morehead State, though, +7 here in the third quarter. McNeese almost lost it. Kick out, Tofali 3. That's way off the mark. The air ball lands in the hands of Jordan Obi. Looking Strack run the floor, grabs it and finishes. And Clara Strack will head to the free throw line.
We didn't see a ton of that from Kentucky in the first half, them scoring in transition, but they do that so very well. But here's where we talk about positionless basketball and the fact that Jordan Obi is the one that's dribbling that up with her head up, eyes up. Clara Strack doing a beautiful job running the floor, getting the bucket to go in the and one. When Kentucky is in transition, they're so tough because all of these players can be in any position. You watch them run through some of those things in practice, and you see that. You see that anybody can shoot, anybody can drive, anybody can dish.
Kentucky now with 3 in double figures. Strack, Obi, and Tony Morgan. There's Pearson for 3. Hassett for the weak side rebound. Kentucky 3 for their last 3 from the field. Morgan puts her defender in the spin cycle and loses it out of bounds. Wanted the foul, did not get one, but that will take us to a break here in Lexington. Kentucky leading by 12 midway through the third. 24th ranked Kentucky leading Morehead State by 12 here on the first day of the college basketball season, a day that has been busy both here in America as well as across the pond. Duke losing to Baylor, the first upset of the college basketball season. North Carolina looked good. I was impressed with what we saw from Oklahoma against Belmont, and South Carolina looking strong against Grand Canyon here in the early stages.
Well, I'm a little surprised that Grand Canyon's already put up 20 points in the second quarter. But yes, I'm loving what I'm seeing so far already. There's some very competitive games that are out there, and women's basketball, like, tell me a better time of year, Noah, when all of this crosses over, right? When you got men's and women's basketball tipping off along with football season, nothing better.
Hey, maybe not if you're an SID. Crossover
Right.
season hits a little bit harder, but we take a look at the preseason AP top 10. UConn winning the national championship a year ago, but without Paige Beckers this year. South Carolina expected to be among the nation's best in the SEC once again, dominating the AP top 10 to begin the year.
Just 0 surprises for me in that top 10, and I think it, you always have some of those upsets that'll play out. That Duke-Baylor game, obviously an early top 20 matchup. You love to see it that early on. Lots to learn about each team. Everybody will look vastly different by the time they get to January in conference play.
Tony Morgan didn't foul Sepp there on the drive. Jordan Obi displaces her defender, couldn't finish. Strack with the offensive rebound. The putback is short. Kentucky now with 16 offensive rebounds in this contest. Straight line drive and aimed her. High off the glass, it wouldn't go. Jordan Obi looking like a point guard here. Now gives it up to Tony Morgan, who is the Kentucky point guard, taking over for one Georgia Amor, who had been alongside Kenny Brooks for the last 5 college basketball seasons. Asia Boone couldn't hit a 3 in that first half, has her first in blue and white here in the third.
0 hesitation, knew exactly what she wanted to do, knew the defender was going to give that to her. I love that.
Boone, a 37% three-point field goal shooter in her career. Spent her first 2 seasons at Liberty. Morehead State searching for offense here. They'll get a foul. More foul on Kentucky in the third.
Watch her there, just no hesitation. As soon as she receives the ball, she knows she wants to shoot it. She's got the defender in her sights and knows she's got daylight. She took one earlier and missed it, but it looked good. I love that she's got some confidence to take that shot again.
Kaylin Carroll comes in as Jordan Obi gets a breather. Ekstrom from the corner, airballed the three. Tofali, though, tracks it down. Sapp trying to make something of the second chance, but throws it away. Kentucky has numbers. Boone, a wide open KK Carroll. 5 points for Carroll in her debut.
The freshman showing you she can run the floor as well. What a luxury if you're Kenny Brooks to have bigs that can run like that understand the game.
There's Dikia inside, up over Hassett, it won't go. And now a foul will go against Tony Morgan. And Christy, I don't know about you, but this second half feeling much like a carbon copy of the first half where Morehead State gets off to a hot start to this game. Kentucky goes on a 13-3 run. Don't look now, they've had a 10-0 run here over the last 3 minutes.
Well, you just get you're overmatched in some ways, you know, with athleticism, with size, that kind of thing. Kentucky's able to take advantage. So I love that Morehead is giving what they can, what they're able to. They're knocking down some open threes. They're getting some things going to the rim. Good things are happening for Morehead State. They needed more offense from someone other than Sepp. She's given them everything she's got, 17 points, but they were finally getting that from a couple of other players. They're now sprinkling in some offense as well too. So she needed some help and she's getting it, but they've got to be able to get some stops on the defensive end.
The last foul was the third on Tony Morgan, so she finds her seat on the bench. Tiani Key, that breather was short-lived. Here's Hassett from the free throw line. Soft touch, it goes. Kentucky has grown the lead to 18, the largest it has been this evening. Here's Forbes working on the much taller KK Carroll. Boone trying to get into the passing lane. Sepp has it. Got a step on Boone, and Tiani Key was waiting for it. It's the definition of help defense right there.
And keeping the ball in play, earning the possession.
Hassett passes up the three. Finds an open Carroll in the corner. That was blocked. Strack has it, then finishes.
Need credit for an assist.
Kentucky will be content just to take the points, I'd imagine. Lead to 20. This time Sepp loses it off her feet. Tiani Key looking like an eraser inside. And we are going to get our first appeal.
Well, Sepp was very sure of herself. She said, you got to look at it.
Call is being appealed by Morehead State.
She said, you got to look at it. There's no way it was off me. So she was very sure. She looked at her coach and said, yep, ask for it.
And that appeal will trigger a media timeout here in Lexington. We will find out the results of the appeal when we come back. Back here in Lexington, where Ashton Feldhouse using the new appeals rule here to challenge the out-of-bounds call there. Let's take a look at what we're currently seeing here inside the arena, and it looks like...
After review, the call on the floor, out of bounds for Kentucky to Morehead State. So we're going 1:17 on the game clock, 16 on the shot clock.
So as you just heard from the officiating staff, a successful appeal, meaning that they will keep the timeout that they used. You do not even have to have a timeout to use an appeal. Very similar to a challenge on the men's side, but you can take a look at scoring and timing mistakes. But the big one here is whether that ball was in or out, who was it off of, using the appeal there. And part of this rule was implemented to cut down on the amount of times they go to the review monitor.
Let's all hope that works because I think anybody that's watched basketball has been so aggravated by the number of times that happens, the amount of time that happens. And that's exactly why you use the rule, right? Sepp was 100% sure that ball was not off of her. She gets the call. McNeese knocks down the 3.
McNeese now with a pair of threes. Here's Asia Boone looking for her second tray. Jordan Obi with the offensive rebound and comes up limping. Key triggers it and hits from the free throw line.
And Tiani Key needed that bucket in a big way.
Some anxious breaths there for Kentucky fans after Obi came up limping, but appears that she's okay, maybe struggling
Still
a little bit.
Gimpy. Asking for a sub.
Here's McNeese driving on Carroll. It goes off the glass. And Jordan Obi asking for a sub here.
Nobody wants to see that for sure. You can see her down there in the bottom of your screen.
Only 12 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Boone has it. Obi in the far corner. Kentucky working into their action. Boone from the free throw line. Off the mark. Sepp has it. Turns it over. And that will be the end of the third quarter. Morehead off to the great start. Kentucky responds. They lead by 17 as we head to the fourth. Back in Lexington, where Courtney Jones and the rest of the training staff for Kentucky working on Jordan Obi. It looked like maybe a cramp that she experienced. Here's the play that she experienced some discomfort a moment ago. Didn't see much here, Christy.
Well, you see her come down and you see instantly she's limping, and right away your mind goes to that Achilles because, that's exactly what happened to her, and she's kind of working both legs, so you're a little unsure. Is it an ankle? Did something happen there? So then when she's over on the bench now, they're working on both quads. So this young lady has been putting it out there. So working on some quad situations, probably got a little bit of a cramp going on. You mentioned it earlier. What was it, 599 days since this young lady has played basketball? It's different. I'm just telling you, when you're practicing in the off season, you're practicing in the preseason, you're going after it, you're scrimmaging, doing all the things. It's just different when it's game time and when you're suiting up for real and playing for real.
Jordan Obi, 15 points tonight, 12 rebounds in her return after that injury that kept her out all of last season. 24 minutes in this game, only Clara Strack has played more. Continuing to attend to what appears to be those upper quads.
Working that massage gun, and both assistant coaches there saying, wait, what's going on? You good? Need something to drink? What are we doing?
About the time where maybe the pickle juice or the banana normally
what are
come
we doing?
out.
Yeah.
Some added fluids.
Make it work, make it work.
Well, Kentucky taking a 19-point lead here into the third quarter. Actually, I can't do any math right there. 17-point lead.
I believed you, so what's that tell you?
Just gotta say it confidently. Make it till you make it. Here's Tiani Key. Airballs the 2. Key with only one made shot from the field so far in this game. Here's McNeese hit a 3 in that third quarter. Searching for a look here. Drives on Strack. And Clara Strack called for the foul. Second personal on the Kentucky big.
That's what we've seen Morehead do all night long. They've put the ball on the floor. Unafraid, understanding their size. Gotten their shots blocked a couple of times and just keep going after it. And some good things have happened.
And I think their ability to hit the three-point shot tonight, 8 of 20, 40% from the field, it's made those Kentucky defenders maybe respect them a little bit more, which has left them open to some of those straight-line drives.
Absolutely have to. Have to keep them honest. They've done that.
A miss there again from Key. Strack tried to go to the floor, couldn't come up with it. And now a foul going to be called on Hassett. Third personal on Hassett. Kentucky with a couple of quick personals here in the fourth quarter. Marie Sepp has been the story for Morehead State tonight. 17 points on the evening, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. We'll be working on a triple-double if things go her way in the fourth quarter. Dikia, great move inside, but couldn't finish. Kentucky has gotten off to sluggish starts in each quarter in this game as Key drives. There's been a lid on the basket tonight for 7 in white, but we'll have a chance from the charity stripe upcoming.
Just cannot get it to go, but I love what she's doing. You love, she's left-handed, so her really being able to utilize the left side of the floor. She puts the ball on the floor so well. She's got great handles.
Hits the first free throw. Key, a season ago, career best, over 11 points per game, north of 8 rebounds, and was second on this Kentucky team to only Clara Strack with 1.7 blocks per game. Hits 1 of 2. Sapp trying to work around Morgan. Morgan didn't give her ground. There's Dikia inside. Hassett rejected it. Good job for Morehead State to get back in transition. Hassett's wide open for 3. It wouldn't go down. And Strack reaches in. Pick up her 3rd personal in Kentucky. 3 fouls already here in the 4th quarter. Those are the type of fouls that later on in the season against better opponents you're not going to be able to withstand if you're Clara Strack.
Can't have it, but that's why you play these games, right? You really try to correct some things in your non-conference schedule.
There's McNeese, and called for the travel right there.
You see her grinning. She's like, I thought I had it. I had it before, knocked one down. 6'5" coming at you.
She didn't have the reigning SEC Defensive Player of the Year flying at her last year. And now we'll get a foul on Tofali. Bit of a chippy start here to the 4th quarter. You really do have to be pleased and impressed if you're Morehead State with the fight that they have shown coming into historic Memorial Coliseum tonight.
No question. I mean, listen, big opportunity.
Morgan down, grabbing the back of her head. Tiana Key did grab the offensive rebound, was fouled, and will head to the free throw line. And I think Toni Morgan's going to have to come out of this game. Trying to stay in, a bit surprised that they wouldn't check her after that head hit the floor.
Sure, that's what Kenny Brooks is talking to her about right now. What are we doing? Oh, she's good. All right, high fives. I like it. But to your point, number 24, Kentucky, you're coming in here with a big opportunity to do some things, learn an awful lot about yourself in a really great environment. If you're Morehead, you have nothing to lose, and they have absolutely laid it out. If this is a team that plays this hard and like this all season long, then you're going to hear from them in the OVC. And then you think about their preseason schedule. They've got a tough one. They got a tough road. They got Bellarmine, they're Louisville on the schedule. These first 4 games are tough for them.
Got to go to 15th ranked Notre Dame, a trip down to Louisiana and Lafayette as well. Here's Dikia, spins around. Strack clears the glass.
What a great schedule. I love that. I mean, I think if you're Ashton Feldhouse, you're really trying to put your team out there.
Kentucky will set up the offense here. Haven't seen a ton of set plays in this game, but they'll go to one here. Morgan initiates the offense, 9 on the shot clock. Pulls from the free throw line. Didn't get the shooter's roll. Out of bounds, last touch they sent by Kentucky. Sapp has been a real bright spot, so is McNeese. Another 3, and this time hits it over Strack. Double figures for Violet McNeese in her first game in over a year.
Well, that time she judged it just right. I mean, Clara Strack still trying to defend that 3.
There's Morgan inside, a nice response.
Good take there by Toni Morgan. You know, as I looked at her stats, stat line the last trip down, 12 points for her, but it's been very quiet.
Oh, look now, Christy, we've got a track meet breaking out here in the 4th quarter.
That's what I like transition buckets. I like that up and down.
I try to avoid anything that looks like running.
That's why I watch everybody else do it.
Exactly. Here's Forbes running the floor. Boone playing some good defense. Forbes driving, kicking. Now Sepp pushing forward on Obi, who got a hand on it. And that one appeared to go off of the thigh of Marie Sepp. It'll go back to Kentucky.
Take a look at this defense by Asia Boone. You can see from up top, that's a really great view, watching her really work over that screen. In order to fight through that screen, you got to body up. That means you got to almost stand up, put your chest on your player, put your belly on the player, squeeze through, and she had to do that twice and did that so well without fouling. It's really hard to do that and not foul and then try to grab as they get a step on you, but she recovered so well. This is what I had hoped that we would see from Asia Boone, was some help that she could give Kentucky on the defensive side of the ball. When you think about Georgia Amoore being such a great on-ball defender, and I think you have that with Toni Morgan as well too, but you gotta have some help. And if Asia Boone can really provide that secondary help, I think that's key.
Dikia tried to rein in the three over Strack. It was missed. The rebound for Pearson. Tofali uses the screen. Nowhere to go.
Nice take.
Euro step. Missed the two. Morgan comes down with it. Now Kentucky with numbers. Morgan driving on the smaller Forbes and takes advantage.
You've seen Morehead be really creative in terms of their offense. So if they're driving and they can't get it, of course, a lot of European players, you're seeing some of that play from them that you might see. Take another look here. The drive. I love the physicality that we've seen the entire game from Toni Morgan. Getting herself to the line. 6 of 13 from the field. I think when I don't know that I have realized that she's taken 13 shots, you know? I mean, that's why I say everything has been kind of quiet with her tonight.
12 points, 4 assists, but 5 turnovers for Toni Morgan in her Wildcats debut. That free throw giving her 13 on the evening.
And there's no question that gets cleaned up. You know, some of those are just things that are their timing, they're learning your teammates, they're learning her.
Morgan hits them both. As we touched on, some big shoes to fill for Toni Morgan, replacing Georgia Amoore, who had been with Kenny Brooks for the last 5 seasons. It's going to look different this season for Toni Morgan, but a 2-time All-ACC guard, second best point guard in the transfer portal this last offseason. Look at Boone play some tough defense. Coaching staff has said that was one of the pleasant surprises.
Yeah, he said, you know, we knew what we were getting, but did we really know? You know, I think oftentimes you get pleasantly surprised. You think you're getting one thing and you like what that is, but then when she gets here and then shows you much more, then you're thinking, okay, well now we've really got ourselves something.
Kaylin Carroll drives. And an offensive foul on Carroll will take us to a break here in Lexington. The Cats up by 17 in the home opener. There's a new general in town, and her name is Toni Morgan.
She's doing exactly what Kentucky needs her to do. She is exactly what Kenny Brooks went after, and that was a point guard. He needed someone to be a leader. He needed someone that understands and can apply what he's teaching them. There's a transition period for both of them, right? I mean, this is a transition for Toni, but also for Coach Brooks as well. But she was incredibly highly ranked, a 2-time second-team All-ACC selection. This young lady knows how to play at a very high level. Now it's just a matter of figuring out how to play at that high level for Kenny Brooks and within Kenny Brooks' system and how he wants it done. And a lot of those things he's starting to see already happen. He loves it when a player will approach him and say, let's just talk. Let's just get together and talk. So many things can start to happen, and he listens. That's what I've really come to know about him over last season, is that if a player has something to offer, wants to talk about something, wants to go through some things, he will listen. He wants to hear that feedback from players and gives them that avenue and that lane to be able to do that. With just open door policy to get that done.
Man, how good has Marie Sepp been in this game? 19 points now to lead all scorers. And now Jordan Obi steps out of bounds. Morehead State staying scrappy. I'm going to go back to the point you were making a moment ago. It takes a lot of time to build a relationship, and Kenny Brooks has had the same point guard for 155 of the last 158 games. And I thought it was interesting because one of the things you talked about, those conversations that he has with his point guards, he said he has started to see Tony Morgan say, hey, I want to have those conversations. And even before this game at shoot-around, we saw those two out working together, starting to build and lay the groundwork for what could be a great relationship.
It takes time. That has to be organic, something that really is built from the ground up. His relationship with Georgia Amor did not happen overnight. They worked on that for a long, long time, a mutual respect for each other, and that's what he's starting to see happen and blossom with Tony.
There's Obi in transition after the block on the other side. Couldn't hit it. Sepp coming down with it. Forbes passed open the three. Had that one poked out of bounds by Tony Morgan.
But I think that's where you start to see some real maturity, is when someone, you know, when a player approaches you and says, hey, coach, let's talk. There's some real maturity there. It's not Kenny Brooks pursuing her to say, let's talk. It's the other way around, and that's what you want to see, is some real understanding. He says, you know, it doesn't matter what I've thrown at her. You can throw anything you want at her, and she can handle it.
DQ called for the travel there, and I think even more broadly for Kentucky, as you look at this game, and they will post-game, this will be a building block for the rest of the season.
There's plenty to work on for here. I mean, they're going to go back and look at this. A number of times I've looked over there and see Kenny Brooks with his hands on his hips, frustrated. The look on his face will tell it all. I think there's plenty for them to work on and build on here, but that's why you do it. That's what he wants. I mean, he said, listen, you always have some butterflies when you have your first game, even doing it all this time. But there are new opportunities, and these are opportunities to get better, learn. That's exactly what they want to do.
A tough two there for Clara Strack, who's up to 15 in Kentucky. Has an easy road, or an easier road, to begin this season. This game against Morehead State, and then a game against Monmouth coming up on Thursday, as we see Sepp finish inside. Just one off of her career high of 22 that she set a year ago. But then you've got USC Upstate coming to town, and then maybe a sneaky, difficult game going on the road to Marshall.
Well, and I love this game at Buffalo, because that's where Clara Strack is from, so that's an opportunity for that young lady to go back to her hometown and her area, her home state, and be able to play in front of, I hope, a huge Clara Strack fan club. So what a great opportunity, but Kenny Brooks loves doing that kind of thing. A lot of coaches do, so I think that's really commendable that they're going to go play that game as well.
I was told that there is a sneaky good Clara Strack fan club in the town of Buffalo. She starred there in high school, and it'll be fun to see her get a homecoming game.
Oh, yeah, that's great. I mean, what more could you ask for?
There's the three from Tony Morgan. Came up short. Hassett with the offensive rebound. That was the 20th of the evening. It leads to a Hassett three. Now 21 as Obi gets involved on the action. Jordan Obi, by the way, 15 points, 14 rebounds now in this game.
Well, Kentucky really just struggling from the three-point line, only 4 of 23.
There's Morgan inside. No good, tipped out, last touched by Clara Strack, they say.
Here's what I'll tell you, here's what we've come to know, is that this is a very good three-point shooting team. You and I have been in enough practices and shoot-arounds to know this team can shoot. So we're just seeing them, again, settle in. You know, I said it sounds like a broken record, but that is really what this takes. I think this is the kind of team that you could see come out Thursday night and hit 30 of these. So, I mean, you know, this is a very capable team in terms of shooting.
Forbes trying to get free. Locates Sepp. Here's McNeese over Strack. She can't miss tonight.
My goodness.
13 for Violet McNeese, the sophomore out of Chesterfield, Missouri.
When we talk about Sepp having guts, McNeese has got him too. I mean, you want to take those shots against 6'5".
Hassett with the easy two, and Kentucky now with 4 in double figures. We get a timeout here from Kenny Brooks with 1:24 to go in the fourth quarter. And Christy, I hear what you're saying, but I think it's also fair that one of the questions coming into this year was three-point shooting for Kentucky. You lose 65% of your three-point shooting, primarily Georgia Amor and Deja Lawrence from a year ago. So yes, there are qualified shooters on this team, but this team's going to have to prove it out on the floor.
Well, they've got to gain some confidence, and that'll be the big thing. Is, you know, tonight could put that in question for sure for a lot of these players, where you think, gosh, 423, 17% from the three-point line. This is something that Kenny Brooks and his staff will really have to work on, just making sure that they still have the confidence in themselves to be able to continue to take those shots. Oftentimes, listen, true shooters, pure shooters, they do not care. They will keep shooting until they hit. We all know that. But sometimes if you have players that, you don't want them passing up open looks and shots that they should be taking out of fear of missing.
McNeese hasn't passed up a three once tonight. Long this time. Strack with a rebound. Kentucky with a +20 rebounding edge in this game. Asia Boone's open in the corner. Toilet bowls in and out.
Literally in and out.
Ekstrom for three. Long. Under a minute to go in this home opener. Kentucky's going to win their 17th straight home opener. It'll be the 13th consecutive home opener that Kenny Brooks has won. And for the second year in a row, Kentucky is going to improve to 1-0 to begin a season. 5 on the shot clock. Morgan fouled.
I wondered when the foul call was going to come, but I love the aggression on defense. Really forcing the action. But I think that's what we've seen from Morehead. They may be undersized, but the physicality is there. This team is really strong. What they lack in height, they make up for
sheer
in
willpower.
Strength. Yeah. I mean, they play hard.
Like the little engine that could.
Yes, yes, they play hard.
And that was something Ashton Feldhouse told us prior to this game. She said, we're playing a really difficult non-conference schedule, but she really likes the team that she's going to take into OVC play that's going to begin for Morehead State on December 16th rather, when they face Little Rock.
Well, they've made this is a great showing. I think the score is certainly not indicative of how well or how hard Morehead State played here.
Couple of free throws for Tony Morgan, 16 points tonight, 4 assists in her debut. Speaking of debuts, Sepp, 21 tonight for Morehead State, one off of her career high, but won't get a chance to create a new career high as she loses that one out of bounds. All Kentucky has to do is get this one into play. They do to Josie Gilvin. She gets it across midcourt. Asia Boone will pass up the three, and the Kentucky Wildcats are undefeated here in 2025. A 17th straight season opening win for Kenny Brooks and the Wildcats. Christy, there was a lot that certainly they're going to look at, but you have to be pleased to come out of here tonight with a W.
Well, and what you have now is film. You've actually got some film that you can go watch something, you can see what's going on, you can actually get a really good look at your team and what you need to work on, and that's what you didn't have coming into this. You're practicing. So I think for Kenny Brooks, there's a lot to look at on film. They did not shoot the three very well tonight, but they rebounded incredibly well. They really got after it with 21 rebounds, 22 second chance points. And then when you really see the play of somebody like Jordan Obi, who can come in and give you 15 points, 15 rebounds, scored in a number of different ways. Let's take a look here what we're talking about. Nice little jumper, offensive rebound, the putback. But then look at this. Yeah, no defense, taking that beautiful little shot, that baseline jumper, playing through physicality, doing it a lot of different ways. So I think this is what you see here, creating. Jordan Obi is as delivered, no question about that, is as advertised. So I think that this is something that Kentucky really wanted to see last year, didn't get a chance to see it, and boy, we're seeing she is as advertised this year.
Well, and now we are joined courtside here at historic Memorial Coliseum by Jordan Obi. And Jordan, this was the first time you've played a Division I college basketball game in 599 days. How did it feel getting back out there?
I was excited. I was excited. I'm happy grateful that I'm healthy now and playing with my teammates. So, yeah, grateful.
We didn't even give you a chance to wipe off any sweat, take a breath, nothing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there are some things now we were just discussing that you'll have on film to really be able to look at and work on. What did you see that that's going to be? What is Kenny Brooks going to be talking about in film?
Our communication was lacking today. Yeah, just on the defensive end, we weren't communicating enough. We weren't rebounding. Like, we're a huge team. We weren't rebounding as aggressively as we should have been today. So I think communication and what happened on defense, he's going to be talking about.
Well, I'm going to clap back slightly because 21 offensive rebounds in this game. Just talk about the heart for your team going out there and corralling some of those missed shots.
Yeah, we know with our length that we're going to be dangerous if we attack off the boards offensively and defensively. So that's really been a big focus for us.
Sometimes I said when you haven't played in a long time, even when it's the first game of the season and you get back in, all of a sudden those lungs start to feel really tight. They feel a little hot. All of a sudden those legs are burning a little bit. It takes a second, doesn't it? Yeah. Did you feel that? And then you're like, okay, I get my second win and I can really settle in.
You know what? Honestly, I thought I was going to feel more nervous and kind of what you just described.
Yeah.
I didn't feel it as much towards the end of the game. Then I started feeling it in my legs.
The quads were cramping up a little bit.
I felt good. I felt good out there.
You look good, that's for sure. So from the offensive side of things, what are you guys seeing as you're really trying to come into your three-point shooting wasn't there tonight. Typically that's something that that can get fixed. But what do you see from the offensive side of things that you'll work on from tonight?
Yeah, just playing together more. Coach Brooks always says it's a boomerang offense, pass it and get it back. So just kind of just building that chemistry is game one. But yeah, just working on playing together, and just playing with each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Jordan, this was your first opportunity to play in front of Big Blue Nation in a real game. Did it live up to the hype?
It did. Again, I'm grateful to be healthy. I'm grateful to be here. It's my first game, so I'm happy we came out with a win.
Well, Jordan, congratulations. Good to see you back healthy, and wish you the best of luck this season.
You look great.
Thank you.
Well, Kentucky out on top tonight, 75-59 over Morehead State. The Cats with their 17th consecutive home opening win. A big win to begin the second year of the Kenny Brooks era, and a fun start to the college basketball season. So for Christy Thomas, our producer, Daniel Gibbons, I'm Noah Frary saying so long from Lexington, where Kentucky is winners by 16 over Morehead State. This has been a presentation of SEC Women's Basketball on the SEC Network.